everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and today we're looking at the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch Darth Vader. Now, this figure was requested by my longtime subscriber Blaine Hoover, so buddy, this one's for you. Now, this particular Vader was first seen in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and I guess you could also say Rogue One. And as you can see, it's pretty nice. It has a lot of detail and it stands a tad over 6.5 inches, which is amazing. So we do have a lot to cover. We're going to look at the mold, the paint, articulation, accessories, compare it to some other figures, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. Alright, kicking this review off before I get to the mold, the first thing I want to talk about is the soft goods. To begin with the cape, let me see if I could grab both tips here without knocking him over. But as you can see, the thin is massive. It almost takes up the whole entire frame. That is awesome. Now, that's not the only soft goods, because he has his Sith robes here that go over his armor, almost wrap completely around his legs. And on his back, it covers the whole back and his legs. So that's pretty neat. Now, some people don't like soft goods, but I think it works very well for this figure. It adds a lot of realism to it and depth. So now, let's take a closer look at that mold and paint. Alright, taking a look at the detail, we could see the nice head sculpt here, and I must say, this is by far one of the most accurate Darth Vader helmets I've ever seen Hasbro make. From the gray metallic paint to the actual maroonish brown eyes. Very nicely done, and just look at all those angles and recesses. Really just looks perfect. And also we have his helmet here. Very World War II German-esque. Mine has a little damage right here. That's right out of box. You can see the plastic is a little weird there. But all in all, great design. Moving on to his main body, we have his shoulder armor, which came out very nice. You can see it on his arm. Pretty good in little raised sections. We have his life support and feeding systems and all that. All those buttons are raised up. How neat is that? Coming down, we have his belt. Again, raised buttons and knobs and lights. Now, speaking of this belt, it does wrap all the way around. And we have this little hook here. And that is there to hold Darth Vader's lightsaber accessory. So it's a little hard to get on there because the hook is so loose. But once you get it on there, looks pretty good, and you could shake it and stuff, and it's not going anywhere. So that was a nice touch. Now back to the chest. Underneath the soft goods, you can see it below the life support system here. It is molded pretty well, and that same design is seen on the arms. And again, the joint is hidden with detail. And then we have his gloves, which are nicely done. And check out this hand. It's his choking hand. So that is sick. Nice touch there. For his other hand, it's basically there just to hold a lightsaber, but cool nonetheless, very detailed. Moving down, we have a rubber crotch piece. If you lift that up, there's detail for his crotch and legs. And then we have his nice glossy black boots, or I should say shin protectors, because on the back, you can see they are strapped on. Pretty awesome. Look at all that great detail. And then leading down to his feet. All in all, a very nicely done figure. And there's the bottom with the peg holes. Now what makes this mold very nice is the great application of paint. So let's talk about that. Alright, when it comes to the paint of Darth Vader, I think Hasbro did a great job. Now I know I mentioned some of the paint while looking at the detail, but it's always nice to go over it. So first of all, for his helmet, we have a glossy black, a maroonish brown eyes. Down here, a little silver and metallic gray for underneath the helmet. Awesome job there. And then for his shoulders, we have a metallic silver, glossy black. And then we have, I'm not going to say matte black, but it's just like a basic black for his arms, legs, crotch section, and underneath the soft goods. Then one of my favorite parts is the glossy black for the gloves, his shin guards, and shoes. I think that came out good. And then his respirator piece / life support has a nice gloss to it as well. All in all, great paint scheme. And what makes it better is on his life support and belt, we have a combination of red, green, gray, white, and silver all painted on here, and it is amazing. So that's basically all the paint for this figure. So now let's take a look at the articulation. Alright, for the articulation, Darth Vader's head is on a ball joint, and mine is very hindered by the armor and the cape. But it can rotate about that much on mine, left and right. And it can move a little bit up and down, but not much. Next we have his ab, which is basically a ball joint. Now, just like the helmet, because of all the armor, mine is very stiff. It cannot move back and forth very much. Maybe like a tiny millimeter. But it can move a little left, a little right, and rotate. So that's pretty nice. You can't get it to spin all the way around because of the soft goods. Then we have his shoulders, which are basically a ball hinge, so they could go that far up, spin all the way around. Then we have a hinge for his elbow. You could get a nice bend there. And then it could also rotate. His hands can rotate all the way around, bend in and out, which is awesome. The other arm does the same thing. Moving down, his legs are on a nice joint. They can spread that much, which is great. Thigh cuts. Oh, it's a little tough. There we go. Double jointed knees. Always love that. And then for his boot, it's on a nice hinge and pivot. So all in all, great articulation on this guy. Sure, it's a little hindered, but you know what? In the films, we never really get to see him move super good anyway, except in Rogue One. But that's all basically arm work when he's slicing everybody. So this is great. I'm really happy with the articulation on this. So now let's take a look at the accessories. For Darth Vader's accessory, we have the hilt of his lightsaber, which is nicely molded. And for paint, it's silver, black, and a little dab of copper right there. Pretty good, nicely detailed. Now we also get a translucent red blade, which goes in quite easily. And that looks awesome. Pretty cool. Now you could easily get this beautiful lightsaber in his hand by just moving his fingers, sliding it in, and you're good to go. He holds it very nice. Now for size comparison with the Black Series Darth Vader, we have the original Black Series Darth Vader, which still remains one of my favorites of all time. It's mostly from the Empire Strikes Back Return of the Jedi type armor, so it is what it is. A lot of people don't like the helmet because it comes off and it's not really accurate. This one right here, the Emperor's Wrath Darth Vader, I believe I reviewed this. They fixed the helmet, but it's basically the same exact body as this one. Nice figure as well. And over here we have A New Hope's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Great figures all around. So that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch Darth Vader, first seen in Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. And this particular figure stands over 6.5 inches, which is great. So what do I like about this figure? First of all, the detail, it's almost perfect. We have all those nice angles, raised buttons, his armor, even his clothing has nice wrinkles and lines. And an added touch is the soft goods. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I think it works for this figure very well. Next we have the paint, which is most impressive. Not just regular black and silver. No, we got red, green, gray, white, silver, glossy black, regular black. This thing is loaded, and I like it for that. Also, the articulation is great. As we've seen, this baby can move all over the place. And finally, the accessories. Now, this figure only comes with one, the lightsaber, but it's magnificently done, with 3 different colors of paint on the hilt, and that nice dark red translucent blade. Now, believe it or not, I really don't have anything negative to say about this figure. I like it a lot. Now, if you're looking to buy this bad boy, there are 2 ways to get this figure. The first is the 40th anniversary figure, which comes with a base. Now, at retail, that's about $30 to $35 in some places. However, I have seen a bunch of these on clearance. Now, the second way to get this figure is like the one I have right here, which is the regular release normal Black Series box, which will cost you anywhere from $19.99 to about $21.99, depending on where you go. Now, as always, my recommendation, go to a bunch of different stores, check eBay or Amazon, see if you can get it cheaper and save yourself some money. So I recommend this figure for anybody who's a fan of Darth Vader, the Sith, or of course the Empire. So that's basically everything I have to say about this figure. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.